Hi, everybody. And today we're going to be hosting a phenomenal guest who is somebody like somebody hard to find in this world. And this is Aysis Belair. And the reason why I say this because like her ability to balance the professional and personal to the extreme is like so high, so impressive. Aysis, welcome in the house.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
The pleasure is definitely ours. And looking forward to an amazing episode here. I know you have a lot to share with your audience. And just for people who have not met Isis before, so Isis Belair is a certified project manager, product owner, scrum master, and international best-selling author. Isis is a driven, accomplished, and certified project manager with 15 plus years of experience leading teams, increasing efficiency, productivity, and revenue while effectively managing projects of all sizes. Isis excels at taking on extreme challenges, navigating organizational dynamics, and forecasting and dismantling roadblocks to success. Known and respected for speeding project cycles, boosting quality, improving efficiency, reducing cost, and slashing resource requirements. She also has verifiable success in managing project budgets and schedules, as well as building credibility with stakeholders, customers, and staff. Equipped with excellent critical and analytical thinking, problem-solving, decision-making, written and verbal communication skills, quick learning, and rigid attention to detail, Isis functions independently and thrives within a team to support strategic planning and corporate goals. So Isis is the founder of Unstuck Lives and Align and Thrive Solutions. So these are two companies that she owns right now and counting, helping lots of people out there who are challenged on the personal or professional levels to reclaim their lives and grow to experience the best out of their full potential. Isis, like, I'm super excited to have you with us today. And I wanted to start our conversation with this question. So, what's the best that you've learned out of your corporate years about the corporate environments? You've been out there and have a lot of experience. So, what are your takeaways at this point?
My main thing for me or for my heart is the people. I believe if you focus on the people and giving them what they need and strengthening them and helping them to learn to be better, then your company will be better. Your bottom line will be better. Um, Companies are in business generally to make money. So I believe if you can focus on getting the people right, a lot of that comes with knowledge, skills, things of that nature, then it aligns with everything else with the business.
Like I totally see this, and you're one of these rare people, Isis, who really takes care of the people, and that's very rare in these days, given the technology, and like sort of roboticizing everything. So, what is the muscle that you've built throughout the years? What's the greatest muscle that got you to that point that the corporate, experience has given you?
I'll say the biggest muscle will come with my brain and learning. I never stop learning. I network all the time and learn. It not only helps me in one area, I found out that I can learn something at work and it can carry and transfer over to my personal life. Vice versa, I can learn something in my personal life and it can carry over into work. I often tell people project management, for example. Project management is as simple as baking a cake. So many of us have baked cakes in our lives. Many of us have done projects like plan a wedding or build a house, and we use project management skills there. Those skills can transfer into the workplace and they can go hand in hand. So definitely learning, using your muscle brain as the biggest thing, and learning is the best thing that has been for me.
Uh, like throughout these years, Isis, and throughout all the projects that you've been through, and like we know, like in all of the worldwide known credentials and programs. They tell you take care of the people, the stakeholders are the most important thing, but like they leave you out there not exactly explaining and teaching you how to take care of the people. I want to get to the why before the how. Why do you think it's super important to pay that kind of attention to the people, Isis, to make things work?
It's good to have clarity when you know what you are doing or know want to know where you're going, and you don't want to spend time on I don't want to say wasteful time, but you don't want to waste time chasing after something or going after goals and you don't know what the path is or where the path is. So communication goes hand in hand with that also, and kind of drawing out a map to say, okay, this is what we want, this is where we want to go, what is the best way that we can do this? What people do we have? What skills and knowledges do they have? How can we utilize these things to go forward?
Wow. And are you talking about like aligning the expectations that these people think they should perform with what the companies and corporates want them to actually perform?
Yes, aligning what they actually have, the actual skills and knowledge, because sometimes there may be a perception of, oh, well, I believe this person has X, Y, and Z, but
Mm,
they may not have it.
yeah.
So actually having clarity to say, this is what we really have to work with. And then what we don't have, we can add into those learning solutions to say, okay, let's upskill this employee by getting them, whether it's a certification, whether it's just more knowledge, whether it's communication skills, whatever they may need in order to hold meetings with stakeholders and be a better person in the field and wherever they may go.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, don't you feel like it, in the corporate environment, it's like a game, and like you want to understand the rules of the game. I mean, it's like, there are rules of any corporate culture, and having people there, like sometimes they handle people as if, the tasks that they're on or the jobs that they're doing is the most important thing in their lives, when in real life, no, they do have other priorities and they do have other things that they need to think about, like sometimes even all the time. So how far do you see that in the corporate world, people just downplay so much other things? These are just human beings. These are not like machines or robots. They're having like 1,000 ideas while they're on one task.
Yeah, one thing that I have learned in the corporate world and people. A lot of times you hear the terms of you're at work. So when you walk up to the gate or you walk up to the clock, everything else that you have in life, shut it off and just go. And that's not realistic in a sense. When people bring their whole selves to work, they
Yeah,
bring did my child get to school? Is my husband or wife or whoever, did they get to their location okay? So it's realizing, like you said, they are human people, um, focusing in on what's needed, also giving people that time to have a voice and to be
mm,
able to be heard. Sometimes people may need a little time to just like de escalate or whatever. It may be traffic or something, de escalate from whatever the situation may be. And then to be able to get into the project or whatever the work is ahead. Sometimes I have seen where skills are taken for granted. Some people do certain skills great, and
yeah.
some people don't. Some people downplay the certifications and the necessity of having project management skills and getting things done. But it has been proven time and time again when you have the skills, you can get things done more efficiently, more effectively, and you end up saving money in the long run.
Absolutely. And it's also like including the skills of taking care of other people and knowing how to, again, like, influence them or understand them, or like you said, clarify things for them, understand things the way that they wanted you to understand it. So it's not just a matter of technical skills, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have to be
How do
able
you,
to address the person as a whole.
as a whole, right? I think what you're talking about, Isis, is something that's so
Yeah.
missing right now. The awareness of a lot of board of directors and so many companies, they're just missing out on that piece, and it's an unsolved piece. They don't know how to solve it. And speaking that you are stepping into corporate spaces trying to solve this riddle for them, how do you play that game? How do you balance as a professional, a person, a mom, a grandma? How do you balance out this personal priorities and business priorities and still manage to be sort of successful as much as you can push, in all aspects with everybody?
Yeah, for me, I have certain times that delegated. I am a huge electronic calendar person. So I'm always putting things on my calendar and schedule some things that most people like whatever it may be that people you put that on your calendar. Yes, I do, but I make sure that I have focused time for even family time, time with the grandchildren, because as we know, the days are going to keep going, the years are going to keep going, everyone's going to keep getting older and wiser. So we don't want to miss those key moments and look back and say, oh my gosh, I missed like, how did you get to be 10 years old already? I missed a lot of your life. So I try to make sure that I take time. Work is work, and I do work at work if needed. Every once in a while, there may be some times where I may have to log on and do work on and not during the normal work, which is understandable here and there. But I also try to make sure that the people in my life know that they are important. Spending time with family, spending time with friends, and that gives me life. Like I love laughing, I love spending time with friends and family. So I do my best to make sure that I'm plugging in time,
Hmm.
family game nights, different things of that nature, so that I'm not just work, 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 and I'm missing out on other relationships, other connections, and other things in life also.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, how do you handle the overlap that sometimes happens when you leave work and then the problem that you were having at work is still ticking, although like you're at home now and it's supposed to be family time, or when it's the other way around? Do you think that, like overlapping spaces is okay? Like, how do you handle that part?
So for me, one of the things that I personally do, I will sit in my driveway and kind of, you know, digress type
Hmm.
thing. Because what I don't want to do is go in the house and then whatever may come from work, I'm giving to my family.
Hmm.
It's not their fault if something did not work out right.
Yeah.
So I try to make sure that whatever space I'm showing up in, I'm showing up in that space for that particular person. So a lot of times when I pull up in the car, I mean, pull up at the house, I'll just like sit in the driveway, time to just kind of be like, okay, let's count, let's look at something, let's read, let's get myself calm and together, and then, go in the house. And so that way, when I am there, if my youngest child is there, I can show up fully for him and what he may need because he usually tells me how his day went also. So I usually try to do that in with any situation before I go into places where I know it's going to be a shift. I try to take that time for myself to say, okay, I need to change. I need to put on a different hat or whatever that may be. So let's focus on this and let's get myself together. God forbid if it overlaps, I just try to deal with it the best way that I can.
Wow, I loved it when you said when I show up here, like, I want to be totally here. Can you like share with everybody who's watching us more about the idea of showing up? Because like we know, like showing up is the number one rule to success. So like what does showing up mean for you? Being there physically, mentally, emotionally. I mean, what is realistic when it comes to showing up, Isis? Because like we're all, I mean, as professionals with personal lives going on and vice versa, are thinking about this.
Yeah, for me, it's the undivided attention. I don't want to,
Undivided attention.
come into a
Ah,
space with you and then you say, "Hey, Isis," and I'm kind of like, "Yeah, yeah, okay, I hear you. What is it that you said again? Oh, I'm sorry. What were you talking about?
Uh,
So I want to be able to give you that undivided attention. And with that, to me, when somebody gives me their undivided attention, I feel like I'm worth being heard. I feel like what I have to say matters because they're taking time out of their schedule to listen to me, to focus on me, and to see what it is. And sometimes it's not even about solving an issue. Some people just need to vent. Some people need to talk out problems that they may be having and talking it out with you. You're just listening, but then they'll say, "Thank you for helping me figure it out." And it's like, "Okay, I'm glad I could help." So it's the undivided.
undivided attention, right? Wow. So a question just came up to me right now. So people, like after COVID years, a lot of people are starting to work from home. And I know you're helping a lot of women out there, women leaders, and also like men with your new companies. But then people who work from home, what kind of advice would you give them when like they're working in their home office and then a kid would come to them or somebody would come to them, like intervening in the middle of a workday? Do you think that it's best for them to stop working for a few minutes and give them their undivided attention? Or do you suggest it's better to like, totally shut down from what's going on in the house and then this is like work time, nobody approaches me kind of thing?
I would say set boundaries because with the work time, even though you're at home, if you were in a building, you wouldn't be able to have those same situations. So you still have to be able to focus and set those boundaries to say, okay, during this time and this time, I'm unavailable.
Not here.
Whether that's a closed door that you may have in an office, home office, or whether there's like a sign that says "Do not disturb," between this time and this time, just so that you can focus. And then maybe at lunchtime, you could say, okay, between the 12 and 1 or 12, 12:30, 11 and 12, whatever that lunchtime is, you can say, I'm all yours during this time, but during this time, I have to focus, I have to interview, I have to recruit, I have to speak, I have to learn, whatever that may be. So I would say definitely still set the boundaries with working remote. And also because you're working remote, it takes away from being next, beside somebody at work. So take the time to get up and maybe walk around your office, go walk outside and back in, just, fresh air to, get everything pumping and going, but also stay connected as much as possible.
I think this is a very realistic advice. I think, yeah, this is the best way to get it done. Absolutely. And I think that's fair too, like for everybody who's around you and for yourself. I mean, absolutely. I love this. So moving now on to what you do with Unstuck Life, your company. You have tremendous empathy for women who have been through sexual trauma, and you are putting a lot of effort and determination to help them step out of the dark. So, what compelled you to think about people who've been going through these circumstances and take on that kind of responsibility?
For me, I am one that has experienced sexual trauma myself, and I realized in my own life, one, and just going through life, I'm not the only one. Two, there were a lot of things where I felt like nobody understands. I'm by myself. It was years of different, I'll say, darkness that I experienced. So as I started to heal, I was like, hey, I felt like I was by myself, and I'm pretty sure there are others that feel like they're by themselves. With society not always made it open or comfortable in sharing people who have experienced sexual trauma and so forth. And also with that, a lot of times when people experience sexual trauma, it shows up in other ways. For
Mhm.
example, for me, at one point in my life, I felt like, oh, well, someone didn't protect me. So then I became overprotective of certain things in my life. And so, of course, there's a healthy protection, and then there's an unhealthy overprotection
Overprotection.
that I was doing. So it was a lot of those things that I walked through in my own life. So I said I wanted to reach back and help a community. It would show up in the trauma would show up in parenting. It would show up in relationships. It would even show up in something that may seem as simple at work asking for a promotion because it was, I'm not worthy of this. So it's with Unstuck Life, I want to help women, walk through that healing process and give them the tools to be better. Walking through that myself, I felt unworthy. I felt like I shouldn't have certain things. And sometimes I didn't go after certain things because I felt I shouldn't have it. And so learning and knowing what I know now, it's like you've experienced that, you're still worthy, you still have a voice, your voice matters. You can still X, Y, and Z. You can still excel. You can still like. There's a list of things you can still do in spite of the circumstance that happened.
Yeah. And maybe because of the circumstance that you have been through, you can even do more because you have a bigger perspective of life from it now. And that's a very big mission, Isis. I mean, taking care of people who have been, I mean, sometimes you're even helping them in ways that their families cannot help. So you're really like sort of rebuilding their lives. That's quite
Yeah.
massive and impressive. Absolutely. And it's a big responsibility, though. It's a huge responsibility. How do you help yourself while you are coaching your clients heal, not to sort of rebound back to, you know, traumas, old traumas, or open up files that were shut? How do you help yourself do that?
For
As a
me, I am one that does a lot of writing and talking and sharing so that I'm not previously before now. I didn't talk and share a lot. But when I did start opening up and I did start sharing, that was a form of release. When I started writing, that was a form of release. So
Mm,
for myself, it's one of those things that, I have no problem in doing. And I also have a therapist and I sometimes we talk and it's more or less like girlfriends type
yeah,
thing. And I'm
yeah.
like, I'm not sure if like I feel like we can go out for coffee even though you're a therapist. But I also have her to reach out to if for any reason that I feel like, hey, I'm feeling a little stuck. Let me run this past you. Let's talk about this. But I make sure that I also am not just saying something, I'm practicing what I'm saying also.
Wow, wow. And so many coaches miss on this, Isis. Just because they're coaches, they think like, they have that what I call it, the I know everything kind of syndrome. And actually, I mean, when you're a coach, you're a believer of learning, and it only makes sense for us to have other coaches. These coaches need to have other coaches, like a circle. It's an ongoing circle of learning, and that's the beauty of it. So, what would you advise coaches right now who are facing trauma, that kind of trauma, sexual trauma, to do in order to turn their lives around?
I like to always say today is the best day to start. So never feel like, oh, well, I'm too far or I've been dealing with it this long, so I'll just be okay. I'll just suffer or I'll just, whatever. Today is still a good day to start and to begin and just take it one day at a time. It's healing is a process. It's not just okay, well, I don't have to worry about that anymore. It's just, I blink my eyes. It happened, it's 11 o'clock. It happened at 11:01 and all of the thoughts are gone. I never remember anything. I never, no, you still remember situations. It's a process to walk through and to give yourself grace every day. Give yourself grace to heal and to walk through that process.
100%. Because it's not just about like, remembering the thoughts. It's like it's remembering the feeling. It's remembering I mean, it affects you on all levels, like emotional, mental, spiritual. It hits you on all levels. And you cannot ignore all aspects, obviously. Even if somebody loses their memory, they're still going to be feeling it on a level, right? If they do not heal, if they do not help themselves out of
Yeah.
it. Wow. What do you
Yeah.
tell yourself every day, Isis, to be able to build up or rebuild your energy to do what you do to help so many people?
For me, it's always there are more people to help. So, just knowing that and thinking about, I try to think about me as a little girl and me 20 years ago and so forth, and be that change that I want to see, be that person that I needed. And so that helps me to say, you know what? There's someone else out there that is still in need. And so that's why I thrive to share my messages to help people. There's always someone else. And I have learned in my life too, I may not be able to see the person or meet the person. But what I have learned is even through sharing with one person, whatever skills and knowledge they learn, they end up sharing it with somebody else
Yeah,
that shares it with somebody else that shares it with somebody else. So literally by me sharing and helping, I could literally be helping a world of people that I never meet. But I know that it's, what I'm doing is going far beyond what I could ever see.
it will go far beyond. And I mean, 100% propagate. Isis Belair, it was an amazing conversation. I hope that you are helping a lot of people who are watching us who have been through stress and, extreme conditions to reach out to you and help themselves uh, reclaim their lives because everybody deserves to have the most amazing life that they could experience.